Okay, let's review our intended build process. The way we're going to build this model is a square at the bottom, 4 inches. We're going to create a new plane 5 inches above that. We're going to create a rotated square of 4 inches at the top. And then we're going to create 2 triangular planar panels. Those will be surfaces. And we're going to try and use 2 flat sketches and 2 three-dimensional sketches just to get this sketched out as quick as we can. You've seen that development work already, so I should be able to just fast forward through that. I'll annotate or say what I'm doing, but I won't go into the detail that I did before. In SolidWorks, we'll create a new part. Top plane, sketch. You can pick tools from the top here. You can hit the S key and find the same tools, or you can right click, hold, and drag and get to the same tools. We'll switch over to centered rectangle, click once on the origin, click once again, right click, slide up, 4, and I'll just select one, control select another edge, and set those equal. Now, you can hit the Control 7 key to get an isometric view. That's similar to hitting the space bar and selecting one of these ISO views here on the corners. Again, that is Control 7, and that'll bring up the isometric view. Now, we want to select the top plane and control drag a new plane. And D1 over here on the left will be 5. We'll click the green check. Roll out. That's just rolling the mouse wheel. Now the trick with the derived sketch was to select sketch 1 and select plane 1. Hit the S key. Here is insert derived sketch, and that will put a copy of that sketch up above. We can take the center point and we can drag that off, or you should be able to click an end point and drag that off. What I'd like to do is look straight down, so that's the space bar, and click on the top of the cube. I'll select the center of the blue square and the center of the gray square, and we're going to set those coincident so that they line up. We can rotate the blue square. Right click, slide up does not give me the dimension tool because this is a derived sketch and it really doesn't want me to do that. It doesn't want me to make any changes to that sketch. So from the sketch toolbar, we'll click Smart Dimension, and from the gray sketch line to the blue sketch line, here's 45 degrees. When this turns black, you're done. If your sketch is not black, ask for help. We'll close that sketch, and now I have 2 planes separated by 5 inches with the same sketch, one of them rotated. I'll click once on this plane and the eyeball will hide that plane. We don't need to see the actual plane anymore. We know it's there. The next thing is I can pull down sketch and get to 3D sketch, or hit the S key and type in 3D, and here's our 3D sketch here. What I'd like to do is see if I can get a planar sketch out of this. So let's click here, and we'll just click the line tool, and we'll go from the corner up to the top, down to the bottom, and back over to the original point. And if all the lines are black, then we're fully defined, and let's close. Now this is a 3D sketch, but I'm very curious if I can get a planar surface out of a 3D sketch. So we'll hit the S key, PLAN. Here's planar surface, and if I pick on the 3D sketch, SolidWorks says, no, sorry, that's a 3D sketch. We're really not going to allow that. Okay, that's not a problem. We can use the planar sketch for the top surface, and we can use the search again, type for planar, and we'll click the bottom surface. There we go. So those are planar surfaces, and you can see those in our surface bodies folder here. We have a surface on top and a surface on the bottom. Now, in order to get this side panel, this triangle, I'm going to use a lofted surface. It's much simpler than it looks, but there's a slight selection technique issue because these are within the same sketch. So we'll use the search command for loft, and we want to find lofted surface. Click once on this 3D sketch, and it wants to put the entire 3D sketch in there. So we'll clear selections, right click, selection manager. That allows us to pick one line. Oh, and I want to make sure that I am selecting a group. Click one line and right click or click the green check. We do this again, right click, selection manager. Make sure that it's on group and right click, and there is our surface. If the surface doesn't preview, then the drag handles just need to be pushed in the same direction. Take one of those blue handles, and when you move that blue handle, then the surface will loft. And what we're doing is we're saying I want to create a surface from this line on the left to this line on the right, and we click go. That one's in, that's good. So we're actually finding that it's very easy to create these panels in SolidWorks. Next, I want to create another 3D surface, or I'm sorry, another 3D sketch. So we're going to go 3D sketch, and similar thing here, we use the line tool from corner to corner to corner and back up to the original corner. If all the lines are black, it's fully defined. If any of those lines are blue, ask for help. Now, we'll do the same thing with our lofted surface. Right click, selection manager. Let's see if I can pick that, and it allows me. Let's see if I can click this. Oh, sorry, forgot selection manager. There we go. Again, if it doesn't preview, just take one of those blue handles and click and throw it. Just literally click, drag, and throw it down to the other corner, and it will go. And there is our next panel. So we have the two side panels in. These are a pair or a group, and we can just do a circular pattern around this entire square if we want. So one thing we're going to need is an axis, and that axis could be a sketch line. That would work. So if we wanted to create a sketch on the front plane, we could click sketch. We'll pick a line, and from the red origin, we're going to click once and go up and make sure that it is vertical. If you're off to the side, you lose the little yellow icon. Here's our little yellow icon. If you move the other side, you lose it. So we just want to make sure that we are vertical. It does not matter how long that line is, as long as it's black and it has the little vertical symbol next to it. We'll close that sketch. Okay, we're going to use the shortcut key again, or the search key, S, and we're going to look for a circular pattern. Circular pattern is a feature, and that feature will pattern other features, faces, and solid bodies around an axis. So we click that. We'll move the focus up to this top box here. This is the axis, and we'll pick that sketch line that we just created. Then we can choose between features to pattern, faces to pattern, or all the way down is bodies to pattern. This might be confusing, but this is a surface body and this is a surface body. We select those two. We pick the total number of copies around, which will be 4. That's the total number, not the additional number. And we click go. And what we've done is now we have the 10 total surfaces that we need. Again, we created a top, we created a bottom, we created one of the triangles, we created the other triangle, and now we have done a circular pattern to get the remaining panels in here. This is hollow, so if I were to section this and pull that section through, you'll see that this is a hollow box, and it is not solid. It's just bounded by these panels that we created. We'll use the knit command, K-N-I-T, and that knit command will knit all 10 surfaces together. We can window select everything or hit Control A. That gets all 10 surfaces in there. and we're going to create a solid. Go. So what the knit does, knit by itself just takes 10 surfaces and knits them all together, or glues the edges together, and it will create one surface entity or one body, but it is still hollow. The second trick with the knit is create solid down here at the bottom, and it will actually create a solid. So if we section this now, we'll see that this is no longer hollow. It is actually solid all the way through.